Hi, this is Farrell. Welcome to my video and the cover to issue 2 of Robot Todd. I spent like a little longer between videos this time because since I did the front and back cover, there's a little thumbnail for it you can see from my sketchbook. I did the front and back cover, and I was going to try to do it in 1 week, but it ended up taking me almost 2 weeks to do. So I was a little late with the last video, and now I'm really late with this video, but yeah, hopefully it'll all be worth it. So yeah, you could see the little thumbnail I did in my sketchbook, and I'm just kind of, you can see it on the left there, underneath the finished pages to issue 1 of Robot Todd. And here I'm just sort of penciling the front and back. I taped the back to the left and the front just because it's going to be a wraparound cover. So I just put it all on one board rather than doing it as 2 separate pages, like 1 each week. I just decided to do it all as one thing to make it easier on me and easier on the eyes to trying to match up the front and back. So there you can see the stages the pencils went through, which was, kind of me roughing it in based off the little thumbnail. And these are a lot more detailed. And I think that, as usual, I've mentioned in these videos before that penciling takes me the longest, generally takes me the longest, trying to get everything where I want it to go, where I want it to be. The inking usually goes pretty quick. This one, the inking took me a while just because I was kind of inking as I was coloring it. You can see here I'm laying in color first before I lay one pen line down. And this one I hardly used any pen at all. I didn't really use a pen until the very end when I did some lettering. And then I just kind of did a couple little things with it while I had it out. But for the most part, this was all brush, Raphaël 8404. And I switched from number 4 to number 3. It just seemed to kind of, the 4 just seemed so clunky after a while, which is weird because I think like I'd get used to, a little more proficient with the thicker brush the older I got. But more and more I just kind of want to use smaller brushes just to, I don't know, it's just more like satisfying. You'll have like a smaller tip. Probably takes me a little longer, but it just feels better. And yeah, you can see on the right there too, I have a little figure that I was working on, which I actually finished that. And then the next one I finished as well. These figures from my friend Jason Lex, which I haven't really posted yet or anything. I've been kind of bad at social media lately. But anyway, yeah, so here I laid down this blue color that I've been using for a lot of the pages. It's this kind of high intensity Dr. Martin's watercolor, liquid watercolor. It's not in like the little paste form or it doesn't come out of a tube. It's actually in a jar with like a little squeegee thing. And I usually squeeze some into another jar and add a bunch of water to dilute it and to get that kind of like light baby blue color. That's the background to these underground caves that they're in. And I use it's some kind of like lavender color on my gouache set. I don't know the exact name of it, but I use that for all those like little worm things and the clouds. And also used it for the kind of like interior parts of these little gremlin creatures. So on the cover you can see there on the right, which we're not focusing on, right there you can see on the left, Fernfell's shooting her gun. And so that bullet's actually headed right towards the head of the little gremlin in the middle. But what we don't see, what had happened right previously to this cover, was that she shot the little gremlin that attacked Sepp, that's on his back. So it looks kind of like Sepp's head is exploding. Actually, it's the gremlin's head exploding. So their interior guts, I decided just to make the same color as the worms and the clouds and stuff, just to kind of keep everything consistent. The blues and the purple, and the only thing that kind of sticks out is Robot Todd's yellow. I feel like then maybe the black too, but and I thought I would make the lettering, the Robot Todd title treatment, yellow. I wasn't really sure about it. That's why I left it for last. So I had it mostly white. I had the 2 O's 2 of the 3 O's were blacked in. So I was like, oh, that'll look kind of cool. But then once I was coloring it and stuff, I just didn't really like the way the yellow lettering looked. So I ended up kind of going over with white, that bleed-proof white, the Dr. Martin's bleed-proof white that I use, mix in with my paints a lot of times. It's kind of like a gouache, sort of like a chalky, I don't know the exact, what it's made out of exactly, but it feels a lot like gouache to me. You know, it's like kind of like what they used to use as whiteout, this thing I used to use called Pro White, and it's called bleed-proof white, and it's just kind of like an opaque white that you can, you know, mix in with your color and stuff. It makes everything kind of gray. It muddies the hues a little bit, but if you're careful and kind of use it sparingly and, you know, wait till the surface is dry when you use it and stuff, it's really like a handy, for me anyway, like a handy tool to get rid of like bleed lines and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, here I'm kind of just touching it. It's pretty much done at this point. I feel like it's really close to being done. There's all the little gremlin guys are a little tricky because I wanted them to feel like kind of luminous and kind of have like white, sort of glowy skin. But I also wanted them inked so they'd kind of pop out a little more. So it's kind of this weird contrast where it's like a lot of the background's uninked, but all the main characters throughout the issue are inked. And so I was like, oh, I'll ink all these gremlin characters. So that's why, like, one of the other reasons it took me a long time is there's a lot of detail going on in this color, or in this cover, with the inking and the penciling and the coloring, and it just took me longer than the, I think the first cover, the covered issue 1 took me, and that I had drawn out forever. I mean, that actually took me longer because in effect that took me like 3 years to do, but this one only took me like 2 weeks, so I guess I'm doing pretty good on it. But as far as just like hours I put into the coloring, I feel like this maybe took me longer. I was getting pretty tired of working on it by the end, a couple days ago, but I finished it. I just finished it yesterday, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Again, is like what happens a lot is like my initial drawing I like a lot, and when I'm first starting color I'm like, that looks great, I really like this, and then by the time I'm at this point I'm just kind of sick of it and just feeling like I don't know if that looks good anymore. Maybe I ruined it with the colors, you know, but what can you do? You know, you just got to keep pushing through. So yeah, here you can see at this point I'm just touching stuff up, but I think this is kind of around when I start to go over the title, the Robot Todd title. Like I said, I used yellow. It was the only other yellow I used besides on Robot Todd. And I think the only thing I left was the first O still has like a spotty yellow in it. I thought that might be kind of nice because, you know, Robot Todd's like white outfit, but with like one, you know, yellow stripe. Oh, here you can see I'm putting in the little birds, the bats that were on the last couple pages of the first issue. Go back a couple videos, you can see me working on them. But yeah, I just kind of put a bunch of those little bats in the sky off in the distance, and that's pretty much it. Other than, yeah, I think that I do mess with the title here. Yeah, here it is. You can see I'm adding yellow to it, so you get a little glimpse of what that would have looked like. But I don't know, it's something about adding that yellow just kind of, I felt like sort of dulled out it doesn't pop as much after that, maybe because the value of the yellow is so close to the value of whatever's in that cloud thing. It just kind of felt sort of, I don't know, trashy is the right word, but I just didn't like the way it looked. It felt a little muddy, I guess. And so I decided just to go over the whole thing after this sequence stops. Or actually go to this. I did some doodling on the left. You can see on the cover piece that I have. I just kind of got an idea of like a scene that I want in this issue. So that was kind of fun. I had a little creative spark and I got to do that. But yeah, you can see there the lettering Robot Todd is all white again. And I even whited out the O's that were black and kind of just made it all white. And I feel like that pops a lot more. You can see it's just sort of like pretty basic. It looks kind of basic, but it actually took me a long time. So that's the video for this week. Thanks a lot for watching. And I have a Patreon too, if you want to join my Patreon and help support this comic. It's only $2 a month, Feral Dow, and an Instagram, Feral Dow, that I post on sometimes when I'm feeling like it. But the Patreon I try to do every week. So yeah, please check that out. The link is in the description to this video. Okay, bye.